rounding up, more like exist.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, let's get formal because we got to remember there's replay viewers, and my inclination is to go. I know everybody here, with the exception of Mark, I think. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
We can hear you just great. Any chance of getting you on video?
I'm trying to, I was
Figure
having
it out.
some problems with my Chromebook and now I'm trying to use my phone. The
Totally
passcode
cool.
wasn't
Totally cool.
available, I guess, at the beginning of the meeting, so I had to just kept pressing till I found my way in.
Yeah, somehow and it's been the same link since I set up the meeting, but somehow it is curtailed and people were having a hard time getting in. So I've now fixed it. Watch, next time we'll have 30 people in the room or something like that, you know. But, we've been getting people, a fairly steady stream of folks showing up for this thing, as many as sometimes 10 or 12 folks, which I mean is a pretty comfortable crew.
Do you
Um,
do this for other cities too? Or what cities are you working with? Tucson, what else? San Diego, what else?
I do not, and one of the things, if Mike doesn't mind, he's going to be doing some news, if he will indulge us, and he'll give you a list of other WordPress meetups. He himself has a really great one on every Wednesday. It has a WooCommerce, focus. It's called Woo Wednesday, but if you have non-woo issues that are related to WordPress, you absolutely want to check it out because we have people like, Steve, who's a black belt. I don't know that Brendan goes to Woo Wednesday very much, but Brendan's
What,
another.
It's right in
what,
the middle of my
what,
workday, so it's tough. I think I
Right,
went
right, right.
once.
Yeah.
what time
Steve,
is it?
Steve has a
Noon.
meetup too.
It's a noon meeting out of Washington, so it's PST, Pacific
It's got
Standard.
a lot of value. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, you have some serious WordPress gurus that attend that thing, and there you can bring fairly high level WordPress issues. Ours is a little bit more newbie oriented, or at least it used to be, because we basically have two types of audience. We have people who are needing help with WordPress, and there are people who are nice enough to offer help with WordPress issues. But yeah, you'll see us, stick with us, and you'll see and there'll be a replay of this meeting that will show you Mike's, what is it called again?
Advanced Digital Collective, and
Digital.
I put the link to the list of mostly online meetups in the chat. And I
Yeah.
think Steve, he probably took that from Eagle's site.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you put the help support desk. That's a good site too.
So I was
Eagles.
starting to formally start us. So let me just formally say, welcome to the WordPress Web Help Meetup, out of San Diego, but from parts all over the place. We get folks from all kinds of time zones and even different countries. Um, we've got there will be a replay to follow. And we usually start our meeting by having everyone go around. I choose people in the order that I see them on my screen. So we'll get to you, but we want to make sure everybody gets to introduce themselves, tell us who you are, where you are, what it is you do, and what brought you here. And also if you have a WordPress issue that you'd like to either get help with or make us aware of, if it's something that might affect the rest of us. Anyway, let's start with Hetty and see how it goes. Hetty, it's all
Yeah.
yours.
Hi, Edward.
Hello.
Hi. I'm a COO of a small biotech startup, and I'm basically trying to admin my own site. It is really pretty much for the once off, once in a million years investor who's just checking us out or people who we're hiring. It's not anything we have to sell anything or try to reach a mass audience. And I built it in Divi and I'm trying to transfer it to something a little more workable. And I'm so busy planning my daughter's wedding right now. I am
Oh,
totally
congratulations.
so
How's your mom doing?
she's okay, believe it or not. She broke her back. Thank you for asking.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, on top of everything. And she's
I usually don't put that in the okay bucket, but I guess,
when you're
all right.
elderly and you break your back and you come back and you're that tough, you're
It's
okay.
just
Doing
another
okay.
Tuesday, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for asking. But anyway, it's pretty busy. I'm here just because I have to get back in the zone because everybody in my company thinks I'm the WordPress expert, which is completely laughable. But comparatively, I am.
You know, in
So
2009, somebody told me, and you've heard me say it, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
yeah.
So we're all on our own spot in the continuum. Someday we'll all be Steve Kinsey. In the meantime, I'm Ed Sanchez. And
So so anyway, I appreciate this group welcoming me to come in. I feel like every time I come in, I know less than I used to know. I'm
well, wait
losing
a second.
information.
Us too.
Whatever you do, don't post that in the reviews for this group. But we understand
Not your fault.
what you mean. We don't want to get the wrong PR out there.
That
All right.
was
Well, good to see you always, and thanks for coming along. And next, the illustrious Brendan O'Connell.
Hello,
Take it away,
everyone.
sir.
Brendan O'Connell here. Good to see everyone. I work full time at a WordPress agency. I have my own sort of freelance side gig thing, and I have a content channel on YouTube where I do WordPress stuff mostly, but getting into AI and automation a lot more now, and just enjoying this journey and here to share and try stuff with other people and see what other people have to share as well. So, and I'm based here in San Diego.
Right on.
What's your YouTube channel?
I'll post a link to it. It's just my
Oh,
name.
yeah. Feel free. You guys know this. Go ahead and put any contact information. This goes for you, Mark, as well. How we can get hold of you. Feel free to use the chat for that. And then don't forget to save the chat at the end. You click the three dots and choose the save chat option. Were you finished up, Brendan?
Yep, that's
All
about
right,
it.
which brings
Good to
us
see
to the
everyone.
illustrious and ever perplexing Mr. Kinsey.
Oh,
Take it away, sir.
right on. Well, my name's Steve. I'm in San Bernardino. I just put my contact information. If you go to that link, you'll get my whole business card, the Vice link, v1, .uk. Anyway, that's really my business card. And I host a meetup on the second Thursday of every month. So this Thursday, and I've been building websites for 13 and a half years almost. As far as Hetty, this is an unpopular, lately it's unpopular for me to tell you this, but if you can go to Divi to Elementor, and there's actually a link, Divi to Elementor, that actually lays it out in steps. I'll put the link in the chat if you want it. And it's unpopular because even myself, a big Elementor fan, been using Elementor since basically it was introduced. It kind of irritates me a little bit, more than a little sometimes. But the truth is it is getting better, and they're coming out with this Elementor 4, which won't require like a whole Divi 5 thing where it all just kind of went to hell and it had to, you had to like redo everything. It won't be like that. But it's getting better, and it's following more of the trends that things like Bricks and other builders that many of us prefer over the old style ones, and without the bloat that Elementor used to come with. And you can actually, with a little bit of work, you can actually make your Elementor sites pretty quick and pretty responsive. I mean, I do it, so I know it can happen. because I have like 200 sites built with Elementor. So it's not like I'm not telling you this because I'm just blowing smoke because I'm an Elementor fanboy. I actually try to preface the beginning with telling you I'm used to be and probably not anymore, but I do use it, right? So because I do use it, I am telling you that you can go from Divi to Elementor. Now, it might not be economical for you, but that is my little bit of my intro. That's it. So I mean, I do know Elementor, and I could help, and that's how you get a hold of me. And if you just want to text me or something and ask me any information, I'll guide you, and without prejudice, I'll help you.
What's the learning curve for that?
Well, I mean, Elementor, the learning curve is ongoing, I guess. I mean, they're changing stuff so fast right now that everything, there's all kind of stuff, and sometimes that's the irritation. Sometimes they'll change, like where you used to click to find whatever it was, is no longer there anymore because they've deemed it not important and they've buried it, right? But is if you're using it all the time, you'd probably think it doesn't change that often, right? But I mean, now that it's not my primary go-to. Sometimes I have to go back and it takes me an extra 5 minutes, but I mean, it's extra 5 minutes, not 50. But Elementor is pretty quick and it's pretty intuitive, and with a couple quick tutorials, she'd learn it like right now. And depending on how much I mean, I've seen her site. She's been in other meetups. I know what she's talking about, and you could build it without even transferring it. It's only like about 4 pages or something. She's got a video on the first page, I think. I mean, really, she's got nothing on the site. It's not like, oh my gosh, she got blog upon blog upon blog, pages upon pages upon pages. Seriously, I think it's like 4 pages. Is that right? It's like a home, about, contact, something like this. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now it is. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot going on in there. So very quickly she could, I mean, if we could do it in a morning, could make the change in the morning, could simply just cut and paste. And as long as I had all the text, as long as I had all the images she wants on the page, you could cut and paste the text and you could make the site like seriously in a morning. So it's not like she's got a big job. She just has to decide what builder she's going to use. And, a good builder that, Brendan and I know something about is bricks. Of course, you have to know something to use bricks. If you don't know much about it, then that's probably not the best builder to recommend. One of our other friends, Mark, he was an Elementor guy too, and he went to bricks. So I mean, like, we have people in this group know Elementor. It's the most popular builder.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that.
Let me do this. Let's put a bookmark in that. Pick it up in a minute.
Okay, yeah. Everybody else got to go.
I want to get to Mike.
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then we'll circle back and we'll talk issues.
Sure.
Michael,
Yeah, I haven't used Elementor
you're up,
for
sir.
5, 6 years. But anyway, let's see the who. I'm Mike. Where? I'm from Spokane. I don't know what you mean by what. Why are you here? Well, I follow around these WordPress and
What it
e-commerce
is you do.
as little as possible, and I'm very good at it. Yeah, I'm sort of on strike and have been for a while. But I do help with a lot of, I help with people with businesses, but I'm not that motivated to be in business anymore because I'm in Washington, which I don't know if you don't know much about Washington. Not the best place to have a business. What else? My biggest WordPress or business challenges. Well, the business challenges is government. WordPress, I don't really have a lot of WordPress challenges because I know so many people that actually know what they're doing. So, like, I got a new client I'm meeting with tomorrow, and I got to set it up. So I got to go remember the DNS and the Cloudflare settings, and I don't do that every day, so I always have to struggle with that. But then I can just say, "Hey, Steve," or I can say, "Hey, whoever's in the meetup," which is the work groups are coming up here in a little bit. I'll just make sure I dot my I's and cross my T's, and I can kind of find my way through it now. But the last thing about me, I do run a couple of meetups. I do the Spokane Coeur d'Alene WordPress meeting, which is Thursday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and it's a prelim. And then usually the 8 or 10 people, we all migrate down to Steve's at 7 o'clock. Yeah, and that's always fun. And then I do the Woo Wednesdays every Wednesday, which is a pretty good group. There's some very knowledgeable people come in there, and they troubleshoot on the spot. And it's very rarely they can't solve WooCommerce or WordPress questions. That's me.
Hey, you may be in Washington, but think of poor Steve, man. He's just east of Crazy Town, USA. which has been getting
Yeah.
they've been getting some press, man. You're muted, Steve.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, dude. Like all that crap is unbelievable. I don't even.
Have you driven over there?
Oh hell no.
Yeah,
Hell no, man. I
that
don't
was
even.
basically rhetorical. You don't look stupid enough to.
No, but see, my
I
office
mean,
is attached to the Mexican consulate in San Bernardino County, though. So like,
oh, really?
yeah, it could go off. It could if it gets real live, it could go
That
right off. Right. I mean, right.
that certainly
Like
is a.
the embassy is right across the street, and the consulate is attached to my building. So I mean, it's all this stuff is always touch and go. But
I don't think that anybody's pissed at Mexico right now.
no, Mexico's pissed at us.
Yeah, if anything. But
Mexicans are pissed at us. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, they're Mexicans living in America. So like, what the hell are they even down? Like, go back to Mexico and fight that war.
anyway, let's
I'm
not
saying.
dwell on that too long.
Yeah,
But
right.
Mark, you're up next. Where?
Hi, I'm trying to get my Zoom stuff all together and get it working. But by the way, so I graduated from the University of Arizona in business and real estate. I've been doing real estate and property management for over 20 years. I've been in and out of website stuff with Wix, and it has so many limitations. My goal is to make a directory for like photography and the study of photography, and then set up a WooCommerce site in conjunction with that directory. And so I'm trying to find the best WooCommerce e-commerce type site. I've been hearing a lot about Elementor, and then also I'm trying to find the best directory WordPress design that would work in conjunction with that. And I'm hoping to be able to have a directory for photography throughout the country, and then people can do their own groups and then sell products on that site. That was the basic idea of my design.
Cool. Well, you and Steve will be chatting, I imagine.
And
Well, cool. It's good. And this is your first time here,
over
right?
the years, so I'm happy to chat about that.
Oh, yeah. And Brendan,
Or
of course.
Mark.
And Mark, this is your first time here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well,
And
good to have you.
Brendan, what are your three favorite directories that can schedule events and people can, have their own little page on it and
Well,
have ratings?
we'll get to the issues thing in just a minute here.
Okay.
I want to go ahead and well, I haven't introduced myself, but we also want to do some news if Mike will so treat us. But my name is Edward Sanchez. My company is Brass Ring Web Design. I was about to say Brass Ring Multimedia, which it was for many, many years until I was able to scoop up the web design URL in the height of pandemic. It suddenly became available. I didn't even have to pay $1,500 for it. I'm in San Diego. Oh, where are you, Mark?
I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, I am in San Diego, in the La Mesa area. Um, a shortcut way to get to me is my WordPress guy. So at my WordPress guy or hashtag my WordPress guy gets you to my doorstep. And I've been fortunate enough to be the host of this meeting for the last couple of years. And I want to thank you all for being here. And with that, if you will allow me, can I turn it over to you, Mike, for a little news?
Sure, but my news is old. It's a week old now.
I
But
get it. I get it. But I
if you want
mean,
me to run through it, I will definitely.
Well, the
I
new
don't know
stuff.
that anybody here is going to suffer terribly if
Well,
they're not on the bleeding edge of WordPress
I'll
news.
put the link to this blog post that I do every week, and then I'll share my screen. I'll run through it. I'm interested in this directory thing because I think there's a lot of post-disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, that's it for the news.
Oh, crap. Hang on a second. Let's, you guys can
Look at the
all
link.
share your screens. Okay.
Look at the
Try it
link.
again.
Let's hold on. Okay, you should be able to see the screen now.
Yeah.
Mike Noter has started. There you go.
There
Okay,
you
so
go.
basically, this is like a sandbox website. It's Advanced Digital Collective. Basically, it supports meetups and other meetups. And so I got a list of meetups here that you can click through. I already shared that earlier. And then the blogs. Each week, I just have kind of a summary of what's going on with the news. And so last Wednesday, this was the news. And basically, what I do is I start off with the number of meetups coming for the week. There's two people that have websites and meetups that I feature regularly because of their websites, and that's Eric from out of Dallas, which most of you probably know by now, and Eagle, who has a great website, help support desk, and he's got a community. So those two static events, the links are there, so you can follow those guys. If you're going to be in the WordPress space, going to want to do WooCommerce, they're good to know. And so this is just a list of the meetups of interest this past week. Now we're already to the WP help desk today. There's a couple more coming up in the next days, but Wednesday I'll have a whole nother list of those. Woo news, basically what's going on with Woo. And so the current version is 9.8.5. You can click through to all these are hot links here. You can click to the exact WooCommerce website, take a look what they have to say about it. A lot of this stuff tends to be for developers, people are working on plugins, people are working for apps. The word WooCommerce was delayed last week, the 9.9. It's probably out by now. They had some glitches. They also, if you're a developer and you're creating these type of products, these apps, they'll meet and they'll have these office sessions where you can sit and listen to the developers, people at input. It's really code centric, but there's a link there. There's a recap of the one from last month. The Ultimate E-commerce website launch checklist. Now, if you're thinking about starting a WooCommerce website and you're thinking about it, this particular article is actually fairly comprehensive. They got into a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of it we've all heard before, but this one was pretty comprehensive. And then 13 consumer trends that are reshaping e-commerce in 2025. This is from their general blog. WooCommerce has a developer blog, and then they have a general blog. And general blog is for, oh, how do you get business? How do you retain business? It's not really code centric. And they're talking about trends if you're looking to sell products or services, make some money basically. WordPress, as of last Wednesday, 6.8.1 was the latest version. It's a maintenance release with a patch little bugs that showed up. How AI is transforming WordPress blogging. Welcome to the new era of seamless content. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much AI out there, you probably don't need me to share links with it, but it is becoming more and more important as far as how people are doing SEO and how they're creating their content and how fast they're getting and how much better it is. A lot of it is still wonky. You got to be really careful with it. But anyway, there's an article about there that you can click through and read if you want. WordPress unpauses development, but has it run out of time? This is from Search Engine Journal. All right, most of the people that are in this space understands the big shootout between Matt Mullenweg and Automatic and WordPress versus WP Engine. And there's a lawsuit, and it's a big one. It's not going to happen until January 2027. But WordPress wasn't going to do any more developing. They weren't going to start working on their product. They weren't going to do anything. And that's a real problem. And what happened is some of the competitors are starting to move in here and they differentiate their service versus WordPress. So this Matt Mullenweg reverse field and said, well, we're going to continue to develop core, the new features, new apps, improve the product. And that's a good sign for us if we use WordPress. Custom versus template website design. A lot of times you can just take a template and it'll handle a pre-built template, change the pictures, change the text, and it works just fine for a lot of people that are on a budget and they don't have high demands. It's not always the best option for reasons I won't get into now, but they have a little article talking about the difference between using a template, a pre-built template, or just doing a custom build. Now, this is coming for, different people promote their own products and services, so you always have to take this stuff with a grain of salt, right? But anyway, future-proofing WordPress SEO, how to optimize for AI-driven search features. They're using AI to drive search engine optimization now. And it's different than the past. So this article gets into it a little bit. You buyer beware with all this stuff in AI. It's moving so fast. Judge rules AI chatbot is not protected by the First Amendment. Now that's I'm sure there's going to be more court cases. We haven't heard the last of it, but it is interesting. If you start using AI and you say something on your website and they don't like it, you don't have First Amendment protections according to this particular judge. I doubt that it stands. my guess they'll probably end up legislating something in this big bill they're planning. They're trying to get into the AI aspects of it. Yeah, I can't predict the future, but it was an interesting article.
Hey, Edward from Brass Ring Web Design, popping in for a sec to tell you how we can help your DIY website project by making your website effective, not just pretty. At Brass Ring, we take a big picture approach to digital marketing, building a strong foundation that drives long-term growth. We use our hub and spoke traffic model. Yes, of course, we design high-performing WordPress websites that serve as your central marketing hub. We also coordinate traffic to it from key platforms like email marketing, SEO, social media, and ads. We align every aspect of your digital presence for lasting success. More than just ad managers, we're your partner, optimizing the entire customer journey to better use your time and marketing investment and deliver lasting value. Training and coaching you along the way means you continue to save DIY money and retain control. And now, back to our meeting.
And then every week I always do a free resources for the people that come to the group. And this time I went with Favicon. And so what a Favicon is if you look up on the menu on your tab browser, you'll see these icons, and you can tell whether it's Google or whether it's Meetup.com or because. And so there is a plugin that you can put on, and this was a pretty popular plugin. It had over 2,000 installs, and it would put your logo up into the browser tab for you to help people navigating your site. And it's kind of important on e-commerce because if they're they're in the checkout page or it's in the cart and then they go want to research something, you want them to be able to find you easily. And that's why they recommend this Favicon as something to do. Now, I've got a couple of websites and it just shows up anyway. I don't know if it's my theme doing it, if WordPress is doing it or not. But if your website is not showing up in the tab browsers, if you're trying to sell stuff or communicate a blog or whatever, this plugin might be useful. And that's my news for today. Well, old news for today.
Well, week old. But
Yeah.
sometimes I stop by and get the week old bread and it tastes just fine, or the day old bread. Thank you very much. I was going to make a comment that it seems, plugins being what they are, the idea of adding a plugin just to generate a fave icon. I mean, there's enough websites that do it, and then you just add it one time because basically you just create that thing one time. But to have a plugin that's there at all times, they're going to
Well,
be
the reason is because different devices look for a different size favicon.
true that. But I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, if we're using the customizer in WordPress, does that and
You,
and
you
it
would you would
is.
you would hope, but I don't know that it does all the time.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Because
an
I've
issue.
have several sites that it doesn't work, and I have had to make the different sizes, and then I have other sites that works. So I
Right,
mean, it
right,
seems to be hit
right,
or miss for me.
And if someone's not a coder or they're limited on their experience, a plugin
That's
can
the
really,
deal. I mean, I'm gonna use that plugin, so I'll use it and it'll work.
yeah. Which was when we get on to the directory thing, aren't there a number of plugins that'll give you directories and filters and stuff that work pretty well?
I would
Well, I'm going to
imagine.
defer to
Yeah.
Brendan. He said he built several, so
Oh,
I'm
he,
interested in what he has to
yeah,
say
but he's
because,
so advanced, he probably just custom codes
well,
it.
I mean, no, I mean you can, but I mean, I want to hear what he has to say because
Yeah, I am too.
I have
Are,
several people that, I mean,
are
I
we
have a
going
guy
to
right
that
now that
now?
wants one, so I want to know what he says.
You wanna take it,
Well, I
Brendan?
mean, yeah, I mean, the question for that is like how much flexibility you need. So like you can build it with custom post types and a form builder, and that's going to get you like 90% of the way with a directory. There's also several good plugins, Directorist, Hive Press is one, Geo Directory, uh, Publish Press. I mean, there's so many, and it kind of depends on if you're trying to like run ads, do classified ads. If you're trying to accept payments, it depends on how big the site's going to be. Like, is it going to be 10,000 businesses or more? I mean, there's a lot of considerations that kind of go into it. So
What if it's fairly small, like 2,000 or less?
yeah, I mean, really any of them can handle that. It's just I think some of them are less performant the bigger it gets. A lot of them just have features that you probably don't even need. So I would definitely come up with a list of like I need people to be able to search by geography. So that's going to factor in like how you're going to pay for a Google API key because if you have a ton of visitors, that can rack up. I got a bill for $500 a couple months ago.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about like API stuff. So it's really to like how big is the site? Are people processing payments? Are people managing their own profiles, or are you setting it up for them and charging a fee? Like, what's the structure of the directory and what your goal is? That's where I would start.
He was talking about a national directory, so scalability for him must be
Huge.
obviously you're not going to have a 10,000 to start off with. You'd have to kind of build into it.
I don't know. That's Mark.
Do you have an existing list, Mark?
Well, what I was wanting to do is have a directory, like a classified directory, but people could search for it by state. And I'm guessing there's going to be probably more than 10 or 15,000 signups. I mean, that's what I'm hopeful. If there was, 100 people in each state, that's 50 states, that's 5,000 right there. So if there was 300 people interested in being on it, um, per state, that's about 15,000. So I was hoping to, have a directory big enough to where people could sign up on it and kind of say, hey, I'm a photographer weddings, I'm a photographer whatever, sports, or, doing something at a show or, some event. And that way they could advertise what they're doing. And then I wanted to have like on the side a way that I could sell e-commerce products. So when people come to the site, if they want to buy certain equipment or certain cameras or whatever, I could sell things, do some affiliate marketing on the side. So the directory would, bring business to the site, and the e-commerce portion, I could, make money off that. So, but my question, what is the kind of like the Cadillac version of WordPress to do something like I've described, where people could sign up, and then also I wanted to have some kind of rating system where people could kind of like, well, who do people think's the best in uh, St. Louis, Missouri, or something, or Miami, Florida, and then kind of have a ranking system or whatever. And so that's kind of my question to Brandon or whoever here in the forum, that what would you consider, with all those parameters I've described, would be a good directory plugin or theme to go after, really look into?
That's kind of an open-ended question. I do have a couple follow-ups real quick, like, I mean, what's your event or time horizon? I mean, how long do you think you're going to be to get to 5 or 10,000 would be the first thing. Second thing, you're asking about rating. Are you going to allow comments on there? And then that's going to be some moderation issues, and that could be. And so depending, like it sounds like you're kind of creating kind of a Craigslist with a whole bunch of
Yes.
added functionality in there, and then which is what my scalability comment was earlier, because I can't see you building all that out right away. That could
It
be,
would take several years to,
yeah, that's
uh,
what I'm thinking. Yeah, something like that, sort of grow into it, like specialize in an area, get it right, and grow. But I think
right.
Brandon would be a good guy to follow up on your questions better than me. I'm just clarifying for my understanding of what you're trying to do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's any number of solutions that would fit. I think Directorist is probably the one I hear the best like comments about. It's got also a big user base. It's got a lot of different tutorials. Because the other thing that you'll find there's several directories that are like on AppSumo that offer lifetime deals, and while it might be cheaper initially, it might not be long term if support can't help you fix stuff or whatever it is. So I would definitely choose one with a good sized community, lots of different installs. Directorist has, I think, 20,000, 30,000 installs, so it's a pretty big plugin, and it does, I think, almost all the things you want to do. I know it has a WooCommerce integration. I'm not sure how that works with like affiliate selling because it sounds like you also maybe want an affiliate system for gear and different camera stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Because I want to be able to, if I'm making $10 off of $100 camera bag or video equipment or whatever, and I'm doing that, 1,000 times a month or something, then that would be great. I mean, I'm just ballparking some numbers here.
Let me ask
I'm
you,
not.
may I ask you a question, Mark?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, how did you come to the decision to do this directory? What's your path from real estate to photography and specifically to this directory?
Well, I did some television stuff several years ago in TV editing and um, here in Tucson. It's about 10 years ago, and in between the property management, and that was kind of one of my ideas. And I thought, if I could do this for the whole country, then. But Craigslist is real limited. You can't. You
Oh
only
yeah.
get like 30 or 40 days. You can't put any links. You can't really, talk about yourself. And then these job sites, they're kind of a whole different realm. I kind of wanted to blend the two and have it where um, people could have like a 1 year listing, and then I would have an e-commerce site. But for over 30 years, I've been having different ideas about things, but it hasn't been since like 2017, 2018 that these directories started coming into play. And only over the past couple of years, some of them have been more dependable than others. And then the WooCommerce and the affiliate marketing. I've been trying to get into it for quite a while, but I haven't been able to find anybody here in Tucson to actually talk to about it. And the few people that I know are, $100, $200 an hour to talk to them, like lawyers. But
Mhm.
the actual um, programming hasn't really been available until the past few years. So these ideas that I've had for quite some time, I've had them, but I haven't been able to implement them without the programs because it cost $500,000 to pay a programmer to design a whole site. Now they have whole entire directory sites for like $200 a year. Um, so now it's become much more cost effective. And then with AI, if I was able to do some kind of, you know, AI builder to build into the directory or, pre-program all the 200 or 300 different categories that people could be searched by, either experience or, location and et cetera, et cetera. So that's.
Do you know if anybody is doing a directory? Is there anything that would be considered either a direct or even a loose competitor? Um,
Not to my knowledge, and I've been researching it as much as I can over the past year. Um,
Because that's
but
where I usually want to start with this kind of conversation. Just make sure, because we end up talking about nuts and bolts and programming this and that and the other, and sometimes, in terms of a new business or taking a passion and making it a website, you want to find out if there's a need, if you're actually filling a niche, and it sounds like you've done your due diligence on
I
that.
found some things in Europe where they had somewhat similar ideas on using Hive Press. There was some test programs that I came across, or where they had uh, putting out an idea and fundraising and that kind of thing. Um, but as far as here in the States, I haven't found anything close to that. I mean, other than Craigslist and Monster.com and things of that nature, a Yelp. Um, but I wanted something more, I don't know, just more friendly and people can have their own little page on like a Craigslist type design, and people could search by a city and they like, oh, I'm having a wedding in Phoenix and I want, a photographer with this much experience and things. And so anyhow, that's, I mean, Google handles a certain portion of it, but there's a lot of people that, unless you're paying all this money to be pushed to the top of the page, you're kind of left out in the woods. And some people can't afford websites. I mean, when I've talked to some designers, they want $2,000 or $3,000 a month just to run a site, and maybe $1,200 to $1,500 just to start it, and then $600 a month to maintain it. And a photographer isn't going to be able to afford that to get his name on page one of Google. But if I set up a directory where people could just search for that type of service, then that's, anyhow, that's kind of where I'm going at. I want that type of design.
I have a comment and a question. A comment for Brandon, actually, or a question for Brandon. But the comment is, you should follow Eric Luthard, who we've all know. He's out of Dallas. His Seven Circle Design, I think, is, but he does a ton of this stuff. But he specializes in images and photography, and he does classes on it. And I'm sure he's got a big way to handle stuff online. Now, it may not be the answer for you, but if you're going to get in that space, he understands copyright, licensing, registering it with he's just very, very knowledgeable in that area. And photography and images are one of his specialties. Now, the question I have for Brendan is, so I'm looking at this directories, which looks fairly comprehensive, but that looks like it's a theme. So it's not, do they have a plugin that goes that you, or because they got a lot of, I mean, for what it does, and its pricing doesn't seem out of line at all. I would encourage Mark to look this directories website over, but it looks like it's a full theme that you install.
I think it's both. I think there's a plugin portion that handles all the listings, and I think there's like the themes that I could be wrong on that. I don't
Well,
know.
no, it says directory plugin, but then when I look at the pricing, it says theme. So anyway, curious though, but I'm glad you shared this. This it looks like a pretty comprehensive.
When I look at the pricing, I see there's a line for all, it includes all premium themes, because you can also use their free themes, but I think it's a plugin mainly. And then they have like themes that are built basically that would speed it along, right? That would have a layout of, side column with the contact info and then business description on the side. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, I was a little.
not 100% on that, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a plugin.
Okay, well, that's what I thought originally, and then and then they're making me think it's a theme, because if you click on theme, right, if you're the one WordPress theme, so probably both. I think you're probably right. But anyway, it's a great resource, the reference. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's reasonably priced. I think that's the other thing. Like a lot of them, I think there's some other like more premium ones that I think have less features. I can't even think of them off the hand, but I remember seeing stuff that's like 2,000 a year just for the directory plugin. And this is affordable and very powerful.
Yeah, and you don't
Somebody,
go ahead. Sorry.
somebody was making a comment about $500 a month for an API key. How does that interplay with a directory? Like
Yeah.
if a person has a directory, do they have to pay extra money to Google, or how does that work?
Well, so for geo searching, when you see a little search thing at the top and it says your city name, that lets you filter the results down by the city. And so if you're using a Google API key, like Google Maps API key, which I use on many directory sites, that can cost you. I think you get a certain free threshold, but if a lot of people are clicking it and it's reloading the map every time, it can really rack up a big bill. So a lot
So
of
it's a
these
direct,
a lot
if
of these
it's,
directory plugins like include something called OpenStreetMaps, which is an open source version of Google Maps. And so I would look to see if you can do that to, especially to keep costs down, because if you have spikes in traffic that can eat up into your Google API key.
so open source mapping is more cost effective than the Google mapping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then it
And
really it depends if you're trying to pull in the actual business location from Google Business, or if you're trying to just pull up a map of, say, like a city. That's going to be more static. It's not calling a unique resource on Google's API. So I mean, I'm getting kind of in the weeds here, I guess, but
no,
yeah.
it's exactly what I'm wanting to know, because I've been hearing horror stories where somebody will build a site, and in the beginning it's only maybe $100-$200 to maintain it or something, and then all of a sudden, with all these different things that they didn't know about, it's like 2,000 a month or something.
Well, and
With
right,
all the
and the goal of these directories is to grow and to have more visitors and to be a community resource for each of these cities. And so, as that happens, you get more and more people clicking. And every time, there's ways of caching the map where it's not loading it every single time uniquely. I mean, it's a whole science in and of itself of like utilizing APIs. But the good thing about these directories is, first of all, you're going to start small.
uh-huh.
And your prices are going to be pretty much non-existent for something like that at first.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't
And then
even
if
know.
it,
Like what he's saying is, you won't even notice it for like a couple months, and that's if you got real big real quick. Because as he said, there is a threshold. I think it's like 500, right? So you have to. I mean, but once you get over 500, then it start costing you whatever it is. So could be a couple cents. Who knows? But the
And
point
that's
is,
yeah, and then just really quick, that's not necessarily 500 listings in your directory.
that's right.
That's
That's right.
500 actions on your website. So
That's
if they go to one business, one photographer, and they see the map, it loads there, and they go to a second one, that's going to add up if they keep going through that. So just something to keep in mind.
right.
wow,
Couple
that
I,
is, thank you.
I had a
So
couple
And the other
thoughts.
thing I'll say there, just to like assuage your fears slightly, is the way you would probably do it initially. Like most of these people might not even have a Google business profile. So if you're not linking to that directly, you're just embedding like a map of a city. That's going to be not on every single page necessarily, or it's not going to be on each profile or whatever. So there's ways to build it initially that wouldn't require any kind of cost. And again, as Steve said, you won't even notice the cost until you get an email alert, and I just ignored
right,
it.
right.
Yeah, that's mostly bandwidth and stuff. But I will
Well,
point
no, no, no,
out,
no, no. It's not that. It's literally Google will charge you for the amount of times that you use their API after you do
oh,
500
right, right,
actions.
right. But
Yeah.
the point I want to make is that I'm looking at this directorist, and the first entry level looks pretty reasonable. You have your various number of sites, but their extensions, they charge for those. A lot like WooCommerce, and there's a lot of them, and some of them are only like depending on the number of sites. So as far as additional cost, depending on, then that these extensions may be well worth it. Like they don't look like they're like $25 a month for one site or whatever, 30 or whatever it is. But there's a bunch of extensions in there, and they're not all uh, uh, they don't all cost per year, but there's a couple of free ones in there. But there's a lot of extensions that might be what you're looking for, thinking you're getting it with the initial version, and you may have to pay extra for.
Are there is there are there bundles in WordPress? That was the other thing. I've seen a few videos where they talk about, oh, you must have these 5 extensions, rank math and jet something,
No, no.
and
Jetpack.
things like that.
Those were sponsored videos, probably.
Yeah, those are
So if someone's saying that you need to have something like rank math, what they're saying is you need an SEO plugin. It doesn't have to be rank math, but you do want to have and sometimes with these directories, I think the SEO is kind of baked into it. But for most, like every single website I use something like rank math or SEO press, because that's how you get the pages in your website ranked in Google search and other search engines. So
And
What
there are
apparently,
some that are like kind of required in my view. Another one is like an SMTP plugin, where if your host doesn't handle that and you want to be able to send and receive forms on your contact form, submissions on your contact form, you need something to like send that email. So that there are some kind of almost required plugins in that sense.
What's the current argument against Yoast? Because I
bloat,
noticed the Yoast
Bloat,
SEO
bloat.
plugin.
code bloat, and
Bloat.
they don't get that much in the free anymore. There's cheaper, better, more efficient. Getting back to Mark's comment, he was asking about the 5 that you must have. a lot of those articles are clickbait. I think Brenda was, they're trying to get you to click through to buy something,
Oh yeah.
and you're better off just coming to some of these meetups because we got a couple of really good SEO people. Ron, the web guy, he shows up a lot. Eric and Eagle know that, and I bet Brandon knows it too. Um,
The
Slim
thing
SEO.
about the WordPress world is, I mean, when you're looking at bundles, chances are that's a company that you're going to pay from the get-go. And the fact that you're looking at WordPress, you're fortunate because WordPress has got a huge development community. So there are a lot of, I mean, and a lot of us will go ahead and try the free version because a lot of times that's all you need. You don't
Yeah.
have to start because you start paying a license here, a license there, and at the end of the year, you're paying quite a bit when you might not need, especially at the starting level, you might not need the premium. Now, as you go and you get to know these things and decide that maybe this particular feature on a particular plugin might be a good value added for you and worth the investment, then that's when you pull the trigger on paying for a premium. I was going to say also, one thing that you might want to consider is in addition to the affiliate marketing, because that's great and it's a good resource for the client or the visitor, for the photographer, and for you in terms of referral fees and that sort of thing. But also one of the things that will make you traffic bait is to have content. And especially in the age of AI, if you have, especially for new, I belong to a couple of, well, at least one beginner level photography group on Facebook, and I'm always giving ideas because there's a lot of people, everyone has a camera now, and a lot of people are making the decision that they want to go from being yeah, I've got one in my pocket to getting more serious and starting to work with actual photography. And there's a lot of people who are asking questions that are pretty basic. So you might want to consider having how-to articles on your website because that is certainly going to make you a useful resource and a reason to come back and revisit your site. So you might want to consider that sort of thing as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. But back to like all of you here have like years of experience with WordPress. Is there like a go-to Cadillac bundle of things that, okay, you need these 5 things no matter what, like you need this SEO thing, you need this thing to speed up, you need this for security. Is there like a checklist to make your site like really well?
I just asked ChatGPT just for shits and giggles. The steps
WP Beginner is a good place to go as well.
How to build a directory site, and then there's the link, and it tells you like Listing Pro, My Listing, Listify. Those are theme based. Then they actually go down there and mention other things like what Brendan said was Geo Directory, Business Directory plugin, Directorist. I mean, there's I got off of that. There was like 10 steps, and it tells you recommended plugins, why Geo Directory most robust, highly scalable, maps, filters, Directorist, modern UI. It's compatible with Elementor. Business Directory plugin, simple, easy to use, start with, and then Hive Press free and paid extensions. Watch out for slow site, so you got to optimize your images, use caching, consider a CDN, plugin bloat, don't overload with unnecessary plugins, spam, enable moderation. I mean, they say Yoast SEO up there with rank math. I would put something else in there, like I don't know, Slim SEO or something. But the point is there's 10 steps, and I mean, I looked at them. Those would be the 10 steps. I mean, they look like the 10 steps that we've all sort of danced around. So I mean,
You're going to find that with that diversity in membership in the WordPress community, there's a lot of opinions. A lot of people have favorites on achieving the same sort of thing. And a lot of the articles I mentioned, WP Beginner, their articles, they'll have, an article that might give you 5, 6 plugins that you want to, or must use plugins or things like that, but those articles are promotionally driven. They are basically representing those plugins. So, buyer beware. There is probably a mercenary agenda behind that article that tells you to use this particular list of plugins. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad or that they might not offer great value, but
I think what he's asking something a little bit more fundamental. On WP Beginner, they were great,
he's
but they
asking
got
for a checklist. And yeah, we all have checklists. A lot of us do. But I
Of
know
what are the like best plugins to coincide with a WordPress site?
They're in that list
if you
I gave you.
back up a little bit, and you think about it, you probably want to make sure you have backup. You need to have an SL certificate. The
start with
certificate of
safety.
hosting you choose. Those are some of the fundamental things because depending on what you're trying to do, the checklist will vary, right?
That's
So, like if
what
you're
I'm saying.
e-commerce, go ahead.
My checklist has, that's what I was starting to say. My checklist in 15 years has changed. Things have come along that are better. Um, Sometimes the same, I mean, I start with backups. No matter how advanced you are, you want to be able to have a backup of your website because there is no worse feeling, and I'm sure everyone here will back me up, that, oh my God, there's no way back on this particular action I just took. So backup and of course malware and things like that, because you'd be amazed the stuff that ends up
That
in
was
your
the next thing I
hosting
was going
account.
to say. Most people usually have some kind of security monitoring plugin like Malcare or Patch Stack. But if you're going to have a lot of images because you're doing photography, then you're probably going to want to have some kind of a CDN,
CDN.
right? You're going to want to have, a content delivery network can efficiently.
It's all in there. It's all in there in the list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So his
I mean,
Whose
it's
list
specific,
was that?
like four is install required plugins, SEO, Rank Math or Yoast, security, WordFence or iTheme security,
Oh, you got
caching,
a chat GPT
WP
one.
Rocket, W3 Total Cache, directory plugin. If your theme doesn't have one, built in. So I mean, like it's all there. That I mean, the point is the first one is SEO. So pick your SEO plugin. Second
yeah,
one's
but
security.
the point I was trying to make, Steve, is it wasn't like it was those particular plugins, right?
Oh yeah,
It's
you
more,
don't have to. No, that's what I'm saying. You just have to have
okay,
some
good.
security plugin, and then you list a couple. But I could tell it not to list those two. But I mean, the point is you got to think about, as Mike was saying, some SEO, some security, some kind of caching, some kind of
Yeah.
directory plugin. If your theme doesn't have it, and in here it says, go buy a domain from Namecheap. It says or GoDaddy. I would never use GoDaddy, but it says from Namecheap or GoDaddy. Get a reliable hosting. Recommend Cloudways, SiteGround, or Kinsta. Okay, everyone's going to have a different opinion there. I mean, of those three, I would say Kinsta and then SiteGround and then Cloudways. But I mean, that's just because I think Kinsta's easier. But Brendan might say, no, none of those are the ones I would pick for the easiest person. I'd pick this one. Mike might say this one. Ed might say this one. But I mean, the point is Kinsta's a little expensive, but that's the one I use for years. Now I
Oh,
do something
Well,
totally
and
different,
this
but
is what we're running into where it's like it's pick your flavor, pick your
that's
poison
right.
in
That's exactly
WordPress.
right.
It's
There's
well,
enough flavors.
one of the
there's
things that I've definitely
50,000 plugins in the repository.
Right.
A
absolutely,
lot of
and
them do the exact same thing.
one
Yeah,
of the
right.
absolute facts that I've come across is the fact that it's more important, especially for somebody new. I mean, you can source different things in different places, but sometimes, they say don't put your eggs in one basket. Sometimes, for simplicity's sake, it is nice to have your hosting, your domain registration, and everything in one place, as long as you've chosen that, because all hosting has domain registration, all hosting offers you an SSL, all hosting offers you security products. And if you choose the umbrella hosting company well, you can get more sophisticated later on and start sourcing from different places. But it is nice to have one bill or at least one place where you go to check everything. And I used to, I'd have domains from different places, and then you have to keep track, of when things expire, and some of them allow you to sync everything up. So it's all you at least know that your domains are going to renew at one particular time. So rather than, and like Steve was saying, have, whether you choose a particular plugin, the important part of that checklist is to make sure that you have those needs bullet marked, so you do have a backup plugin, whatever, or a black backup scheme, whether it's the hosting company doing it for you, or you use something like Updraft or something like that, or, and then, malware that you have, maybe a caching program. A CDN has been recommended a couple times for you if you're going to have, a lot of images. Having a CDN can be helpful. So, but
When
as
Steve
far as
was talking,
I was going to say, just as far as there being an official checklist from WordPress on the things that you're going to need, different people are just the oops, I used a bad language word. Just within the core development team, they would probably give you different lists, so just
okay,
make sure.
when Steve was saying that Elementor is having some issues, and then he said something about DB or DBI,
Yeah, Divi.
Ivy.
Divi. What is? And then you were saying, oh, there's a much better, something better than Elementor. What is it that is better than Elementor? What?
Well, again, man, back to what Brandon was saying. We're the 31 flavors, and I mean, it's again, if you know what you're doing, there are builders that are more akin to maybe more akin to like core, or not core, because core can mean something different with WordPress. More like fundamental, right? Like the fundamental CSS and the fundamental HTML, PHP stuff that is used for WordPress. But that's why you pay us, right? Because we know how to do that stuff.
Well,
So
remember also Ford, Chevy, and Toyota all make trucks.
yeah, that's right.
They all roughly
That's right.
fulfill
And
the
the certain
same
ones are better,
need.
different. You can argue about them, but the story
Oh,
is same
what
same drill here.
what was
But
your favorite? You said you'd been working
I work.
with
I mean,
Elementor.
I mean, I have a lot of Elementor sites. So for me to say that did me any disservice, other than a few times it's really
Oh
pissed
no,
me.
no. I was saying, what is your new favorite? That was my
Well, I
question.
mean, I still do have so many Elementor sites that I mean, but I like bricks. But I mean,
Rick?
but but
I'm not
I
around.
don't know that I would. I don't know that I would
You're ready to jump
recommend
over
it to
to
you,
bricks.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a little more harder than
It's
Elementor,
way
correct?
hard. It's way harder.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it's
and all
harder,
of
but
those
it's
are
better
harder
for you.
Oh,
than,
wait. What were you say, Brendan?
and I was gonna say, and all those page builder options are gonna be quote unquote harder and more technical than buying a directory plugin. Because the
That's
directory
correct.
plugin has your page templates for the listings. It has your categories set up for you. It has your single post templates set up for you. It has all the template. Well, I assume most of them have that set up, right? Because there's also, how are you going to build it all with something like Elementor or Bricks? Like I use Bricks to build directories, and I use a form plugin, and I use custom post types, but that's because I'm building that all from scratch, and I can choose exactly how something's laid out. If I don't like the way the stars are rendered, like it's easy for me to go in and fix it. But most people don't care about that. They want a solution that takes care of the directory portion, that is showing categories, aka different types of photographers, maybe videographer versus photographer. That kind of stuff is going to be taken care of for you in a directory plugin, and that's one of the reasons those are so popular, because you can build that from scratch with a page builder.
But why would? But maybe you don't
Yeah,
want to. And there's
yeah.
three themes right there: Listing Pro, My Listing, and Listify, that are themes that is exactly what Brendan was just saying. There are themes out there that you just set up and it's ready to rock and roll, and you don't have to worry about anything. It works for you.
Hey, let me jump in with a bookmark. Hetty actually brought us had mentioned an issue before Mark, and we've spent all this time with Mark,
yeah.
and I want to make sure that we leave enough time that if Hetty had a particular issue she wanted us to address, we can always come back to Mark. I think we've covered some pretty good
I agree.
basics for Mark. Hetty, and I hope you've picked up something from this conversation, but was there something that we haven't answered that applies to your specific situation right now?
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. I always feel like I tax too much time, so I'm
Oh no,
totally fine, but thank you.
Now you're even.
bring it, bring it,
Because
bring
I'm
it.
starting from like
It all wash. It all works out in the wash.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But I actually do
Go
have a
ahead.
question, completely unrelated to what we're talking about, and I don't know if it's good for this forum, but we're talking about shipping. Is that okay? A question for this forum from my
Shipping,
mom's
yeah.
Sure,
website.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Mike, you suggested pirate ships, so I went and explored that a little bit. I'm using ShipStation, and they for $9.99 a month they give you stamps.com. Like to get the stamps.com account, it costs a lot, kind of. But then if you get ShipStation, it's $9.99, and that's sort of what I figured. And you were saying pirate ship is cheaper. Does it do everything that ShipStation? I don't know enough to really understand before I jump.
That's glitchy.
Say it again.
ShipStation's had some problems. People used to use it a lot, and now
Mhm.
I think Eric just last week was saying don't.
I
have
totally
a couple sites where we use pirate ship.
okay.
The girls they're really happy with it.
Well,
They get discount
stamps.com
pricing.
is the U.S. Post Office.
Right.
Do they have a good solution?
Are you asking Mike?
No, no, no.
No,
She's
I'm
saying,
asking. I'm sorry, I'm asking Mike. Do they have a good solution? Because I tend not to look to the government for the best
No, I
option.
think you can decide. They give you the options, right? I
no,
haven't.
no, no. Stamps.com is you use the United
Oh
States
no,
Postal
no. I
Service.
thought you were talking about pirate ship.
No,
Stamps.com.
I'm talking about
Yeah,
stamps.com. That's the government.
That's USPS.
use
And
the government.
That-
So through pirate ship, I can purchase postage, print labels, and ship,
yes.
and I don't need this add-on. They just simply
Yeah.
buy USPS postage
And
without
that
any
tracking and
kind of
everything's in the label when you take it to the yeah.
okay.
works
So
good.
I could do that all online. So I don't need
Yeah.
I don't
But you
need
gotta
a
deliver the
state.
goods.
Okay.
But yeah,
Pirate ship is good.
pirate ship's
Pirate
good.
ship is good. And I could have them pick up on my doorstep the way I do now.
I don't know about that. I mean, you do that with the United
do
States
they
Postal
come with
Service, right?
any of these come with hardware? Because I know stamps.com will try to get you to get their scale, their
I'm good.
printer.
I've got everything I need for the shipping just because I've been doing it. I've been doing it this way.
Okay.
It costs me because this isn't what I do. And I've calculated how much it cost me to ship one of
It
my
must be for the
mom's
books, right?
$16 books.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like if, and sometimes I pay somebody to do it because I don't have time, but I want to honor her audience of people who want to buy poetry from an aging Japanese American poet. So that I'm just going to do, and I'm committed to doing that. But I'm
Right.
just trying to do
Good
it
for
as
you.
cheap as
But
possible.
can't you do it? Can't you do it through the flat rate envelope? Won't that book fit in one of them envelopes that you can get through the Postal Service?
It does.
It
People,
fits, it ships.
I end up shipping sometimes to universities, and there's all kinds of iterations that happen. And she has another book that I actually buy it at her rate and ship it just because people want her original
Well,
book.
I mean,
I
there's
don't-
medium mail is going to be your cheapest way to send a book,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's going to be a lot less than
Well, sure, but I mean,
priority
flat rate
mail.
postage. But flat rate
It
postage.
is. It's cheap, and going there is cheap. It's difficult. I mean, and I can actually take things to my lab and have it shipped through there, but I kind of zone things a little bit. So if I'm shipping something else by priority flat rate and they're coming to my front door of my home, I
Right.
usually just attach one of these other shipments. They'll pick up anything. If they're coming for that, they'll come with anything. So
Because
think you can.
priority mail's they've really come up.
I think you can sell it at your doorstep, but I will tell you that the people that I know, and I have some clients, and the people they're not my clients, they're pretty happy with pirate ship.
okay.
We're having problems with ShipStation for some reason, and I
Okay.
can't because I don't use it. I can't tell you exactly what they are. Eric. He shows up in these meetups.
Yeah.
He's the one that brought that up 2-3 weeks ago. about some problem. I don't know if it's a problem with their API. I don't know what's going on with it, but there's some issues going on there. But you probably know the goalposts are always moving.
Yeah, they are.
It was great
in
today.
everything.
Tomorrow may be a
And
dumpster fire.
What's your availability on Wednesdays at noon? Hi, Hetty.
me,
She comes. She comes. She's been there.
But
this,
Oh, you have,
Yeah.
okay.
has she been to
This-
WooCommerce?
Yeah.
Wednesday?
I have.
Wednesday?
She was just last week. Remember, and
I
she was
And
telling her name
I
wrong. We were
pretty
saying her
much-
name wrong, and somebody said, "No, that's not how you say her name."
oh, that was me. Yeah. Well, actually, it was
I don't know. Somebody was saying
but
Heidi,
I
and it
was
was Hetty.
mispronouncing her name.
Whatever it
And
is. I mean, it's Hetty. Her name is Hetty, and we all got it. But what it didn't matter. Point was, somebody said, "Oh, that's not your name, right?" And it was in your meeting, I think, Mike.
but
It's
she knows
Headley.
Eagles. She knows she knows you.
She's been around. She's been around, man. And I think she's been to Eagles meetup. I mean, she's been to meetups.
She doesn't know, but she's built some websites that look, or at least one that looked pretty good. You did your mom's website.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And she did her mom's website, and she did the one with the. She was asking about the movie because she got a movie at the top of her
Oh, right. That was the biotech.
That's right. That's what
I
she
know.
does. That's what she just mentioned her lab. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Like, she's told us everything we need to know about her. She just told us in different meetups.
Everything, Steve?
No, not everything, but I mean a lot. Like she's got a daughter, she's getting
Oh,
married, she's
background
got a
check?
mom, she's told us where she's from. I mean, like we know a lot.
No, it's good to have
They've got you sorted out, Hetty.
Just listen. People will tell you things. You know,
it's like
just saying.
it's like AI. It's all pieced together.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think your
Dark
intelligence is
But
artificial.
anyway, I just looked up, and the prices are way different than what they were way back when I used to use this stuff. So maybe U.S. priority isn't the best. I mean, it's the priority mail is like $9. So you're
Well,
right.
it's just
I mean,
that it's just that media mail is like nothing.
Yeah.
well, that would be the
Medium-
better
yeah,
way,
so
but they won't
cheap.
pick you. But they won't pick it up at her door. This priority mail,
No.
they'll pick it right up at your door.
Yeah. And I can do that with pirate ship. Is that right?
Pirate
Well-
ship, you can do.
But it won't be any cheap. But it won't. But Eddie, it won't be cheap. Like if you're looking to save money, the save money part is to ship. And I mean, how many books are you selling for
This
real?
is the thing is I sell so few.
Yeah.
Few. I
Then
mean,
use
like
the media.
a
Then
year.
use the media mail and send them out
Okay.
every once in a while, and go to the post office on a Saturday morning when they open, and just
So I'm actually looking for easy for something that doesn't have a recurring cost that's ridiculous. So she doesn't sell anything.
media. A media mail is one
Easy
time
money.
when you
But-
send it.
And
But
remember,
weirdly-
if you catch your mailman or a mail, well, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. A mail person or a
I
mail
know.
individual, whatever we're calling them nowadays, you can give them your shipment as well.
I suppose I could. I could
Yeah,
give it to Chantel, who comes.
UPS or UPS and the Postal Service.
Yeah, a lot of time, I've been sending things FedEx. I've got a postal
Yeah,
annex.
but I don't know if pirate ship integrates with. That's what I'm trying to figure out right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Because she should have all the options available to her.
Yeah,
But
you
the
should have
cheapest
them.
one and the most convenient is pirate ship for 90% of it.
Okay.
International shipping could be a problem, right?
Yeah,
Do they have, Mike, do you know if they have any special rates through Pirate Ship?
We were, I haven't looked at this for about 2, maybe 3 years, but we
Okay.
couldn't find anything that would beat pirate ship.
Really?
But that's been a couple, 3 years, and you know about goalposts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it can't hurt to, your books are all the same size, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
But
if you check to see.
it's usually in terms of numbers because it's sort of an academic crowd that buys them or
Yeah.
book groups and that sort of a thing. And they're not that many. So I'm not looking like to save
Yeah.
money per book. I'm just looking for something that could integrate me into my full-time job and taking care of my
Time,
mom and
save
everything
time.
else. Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
A little
Okay.
bit. And
Time
changing
and
does
labor.
take time. But I think I mentioned, and Mike was responsive to this, I'm trying to set up something that moving forward 10 years, I could just continue to ship her books should somebody
That's right.
them. I mean,
How much does the book weigh?
great.
How much does the book weigh?
I don't know. It's just programmed in there, but it's a skinniest little thing.
I know. Is it? I mean, is it 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 12 ounces? Any idea? No.
It's soft or hardcover.
Soft cover, like
So
probably
probably-
12.
Well, because if it's 4 ounces, the medium mail or ground advantage which gets it there pretty quick. It's not media mail. It's not as cheap as media mail, but if it's cheap, you can get you can sell it for like, or send it for like depending on the zone, like zone 9's way out there, like Guam and stuff, it's 585, whereas close within one zone it's like 525. So, like it starts pretty cheap, and that's 2 to 5 days, and I think you get tracking. Whereas media mail, you won't get tracking, and
Mhm.
you'll just risk that it gets there. Um, but you can do. I mean, there's options. I mean, the Postal Service has options. Best thing, I mean, if you want to use the United States Postal Service, I would just call someone at the United States or go to the post office and talk to someone there. I mean, wait in line, whatever you have to do, and do it, right? And what's the
And
worst thing?
and the method of shipping is less. I'm actually looking to decide what account to sign up through to easily ship the labels and everything. And right now, I have no reason to move from ShipStation at all. It's just that Mike had said, "Hey, there's a free version." I was interested in.
Oh
And
yeah, well, Pirate Ship is a free.
It
Um,
is free. The Pirate Ship is free.
Yeah.
I put a updated review of Pirate Ship in the chat. You might want to check out.
Thank you.
And it's they don't charge. They don't. It's pretty damn easy.
Okay. And
and
so
we
what
and
you
we
don't
recommend
get
it.
is, and you don't get discounted shipping, but that's really not,
Oh, I think you
I'm
do.
not interested in that
I think
necessarily.
they do give
because-
discounted.
Oh,
I
okay.
think the one Marketplace Botanicals, I think she says they get deals, but it'll only do UPS and the United States Postal Service according to this
Okay.
review. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I don't want to.
Okay.
But they
That's
got the pros and cons on it. But they say it's easy, and everybody I know that uses it really likes it. Now, if you're set with ShipStation and it ain't broke, right?
Yeah, I mean, why mess with it?
It
I
costs
get
per
that
month.
argument, right?
It
Oh,
does
the
cost per
cost.
month, right? Yeah, it costs $9.99 per month. At a point when she just published, she was actually selling enough. I mean, that's reasonable. But if you're selling one book, it's
Pirate Ship is
it can-
free. It prints
yeah.
the labels for free. It does, it doesn't support all the carriers.
That's okay. I mean, that's actually
Yeah. I mean, but they don't charge. There's no monthly fee, which
okay.
is interesting. Well, let's finish your stuff there, Eddie.
But
One
that's
of the
Yeah.
things I watched an hour and a half video like a month ago about Amazon and the importance of selling books online. And there's this whole big process of how this guy wrote 4 or 5 different books, and he started making a lot of money from selling things on Amazon. In fact, there's a whole other thing on Amazon in another hour thing video where they talked about AI was making books. And so there's a whole bunch of information talking about making money, putting your books on Amazon, and then they ship them all over the world through the PDF files. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not sure why we're not.
Here's what I think about that situation, because if I think back, there for quite some time prior to AI being ubiquitous, people have been writing books and writing articles using basically writers, iWriter and things like that, using writers that know absolutely nothing about the topic, but there are formulas and research that can be done to basically put together books. So with AI being available, I don't know that we're in a very different place. I mean, we're talking about creating content, a content creator, and how knowledgeable it is, you know. So in terms of whether AI is going to be a useful help, I would say, Mark, start using it. Whatever AI engine you choose, it'll start learning whatever your various topics are. Because I've found, like Chat GPT, and by the way, maybe I'll ask Steve, because I finally pulled the trigger and got the $20 Chat GPT, right?
Yep. Yep.
And now I
It's
can't
way
upload.
better.
I can't upload files.
Oh yeah.
It tells me no. It's somehow it's down.
Are you
It
using the
tells
right
me
model? Are you using the right model?
yeah. It tells me file upload not available. The
Oh,
little
you know
plus
what? Go.
sign.
Are you doing it from your desktop? Are you doing it from your computer? Not so. Go online and go from there online. Sometimes when you're using it as a plug is as a
No, no,
on
no.
your
I don't
computer.
use plugins. I use it in the browser
Oh, there shouldn't be a problem at
all
all.
the time. I know it shouldn't, but there's that word should. This is why I do not use the word should. There are so many things that should
Well,
be
I mean,
that
the thing
simply
is
aren't.
I do it though. I do it, so I
And
don't know what the heck.
I've actually got a question into to the OpenAI support team because all of a sudden the plus, it used to be you hit a little plus symbol
Yep.
and you get an upload dialog. And right now the plus is grayed out for
Hmm.
me using the
And I
same
mean, and you're
browser.
like, and you switch through the models, right? Because you have several different models to choose from, right? You can choose from 4.0, you can choose from 3, you can choose from all of them, right? You have that option,
I'll
right?
I'll 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 play with more of them, but I mean, all I basically did was upgrade.
Shouldn't be a problem,
I'm
man.
using 4.0. I know
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
it
I
shouldn't
drag them.
be.
I mean, I drag PDFs right
They,
over into
they
it.
shouldn't be burning Los Angeles, and yet they are.
I know.
Anyway, I don't want to get us dragged down on
Yeah,
that one.
right, right,
Let's
right, right.
let's let's move into the wrap up.
I want to
Anybody,
ask Brandon a quick
Michael?
question. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
what do you think about these directories, which looks pretty powerful, but they charge for the payment gateways like PayPal and Stripe, which,
Directorist charges you for that?
well, they've got the extensions. Well, maybe it's some kind of better integration, but I mean, those payment gateways are usually free, right? I mean, they make their money
Yeah, I don't know.
off the trade, not on the
So they're charging you
So
for the
they're
integration.
charging you
not
in
a lot.
addition to what Stripe charges?
No, they if the payment gateway extensions, it's like $29 a year for a single site, 49 for five, and 89 for unlimited. But they're charging for the Stripe and PayPal gateway, which,
Hmm. In addition to what those
oh yeah,
platforms
then
charge.
yeah, right. I thought that was a little odd. We don't need to get into that now. We've kind of been through that already. But you seem like you know
Yeah.
Directress, and it
Well,
does look very, very powerful.
yeah. No, I don't know the details on that. Those extensions are included though, is my
I wouldn't think
understanding.
they'd be. Well, that's what I was trying to figure. Why would they? Anyway, if you don't
That's the
know,
thing.
I won't
Unless
bother.
you're a specialist and just doing it every day, if you do a directory one year and then you do it again in 3 years, things are gonna, you're gonna have to learn it again.
On
And
My
almost
that's always one
understanding
of
with
the.
that, Mike, is that you can use the free Directorist plugin, and then if you want like Stripe payment gateway or the geolocation or whatever, you can pay those individual extensions. And again, don't
yeah,
quote me.
that's what it looks like to me. But generally, on these websites, you install the payment gateway for free, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to do that anyway.
yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
what I
and
was.
be and be wary of ones that charge you an extra 2 or 3% on top of what Stripe's charging
That's
you,
right.
so whatever it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, it's not huge money, but at the same time,
Oh,
It
it adds
adds
up.
up.
It's a
It adds
percentage.
serious
up.
item there. So, all right,
Yeah.
you want to wrap up there? Thank you for indulging
No, I
me.
was gonna say, is there anyone who would like to offer us a 10, 20, 30-minute chat on a particular topic? Steve, Brendan,
What?
Mike?
When do you want
No,
that to be?
Tonight,
Oh,
no, for
uh,
next time or
I'm
for,
always happy to.
I'm
oh
always,
man, like if you let me
Remember
know
what?
ahead of time, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Just give me a couple days in advance. I'll figure out something. Brendan said he'd always happy. I mean, I'm sure we could help
Totally.
you out the next couple meetings.
well, we
I got,
seem to do better when we have a topic in terms of, being able to offer something other than just open forum. If we have a particular topic, especially something that's timely. So if you think of something, I'm always looking
I
for
could think
ways
of
to.
something.
Steve, we could do something on building a directory for Mark.
Yeah.
Right,
I,
right.
I, I think building a directory is fine, but also WooCommerce. I think understanding an e-commerce site and choosing the right one to attach to a person's website. I think those two topics is what I'm interested in. I'm hoping other people here
I'll
would
tell you what,
also be interested.
we'll sign you up 6 months down the road, and
You can tell us.
you can tell us.
I wish that were that simple.
Well, I mean, it's all
Hey.
he's not too far off because that'll probably be what will happen, right? You'll do more
Yeah.
research on this current research than any of us will know, and you'll have a much better
In the
handle.
land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
you are just starting your journey on this, but you're going to be getting quite an education just putting this one website together. So
And then the other question is WooCommerce the right solution? Because
There's
Right,
that
because it
as
might be
well.
SureCart, there might be many
the new
different
one's
ways.
Fluent Cart, which is from the Fluent Forms team. That one's coming out. That looks pretty appealing.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, bear that in mind. I also want to remind you guys to save the chat. I'll throw the little instructions there into the chat itself. So let me know about speakers. And with that, I think we've come to the end of yet another WordPress web help meetup. I want to thank
Can you
all.
post that saved chat link again? Could you post that again?
So just go up to the top in the
It's not.
chat
It's
there,
not a link. It's just in your chat.
but up there in the chat window, do you see at the very top
It's
where
the
it says
most.
WordPress?
It's the most recent.
Do you see where it says WordPress Web Help Group at the top of your chat box?
And that's the problem. I'm on my phone because the Chromebook
Oh,
didn't
you'll
work.
just have to, you know what, do me a favor, send your
Drop your
email address
email,
and I'll send it to you.
There you go.
What's your email
Yeah,
address?
unfortunately, Zoom doesn't let
Oh,
mobile
what's your
users
email
share
address,
chat.
Mark?
My email address is tucson99az@yahoo.com.
All right, cool.
And if there's anybody else here listening that would like to send me their information, that would be great. Again, my email is Tucson, TUCSON 99AZ@yahoo.com. That's
Got it.
my personal email.
Got it, man.
Thanks for doing that, Steve.
Yeah, no sweat.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate this. I like talking to people with experience, not people that just have opinions. And your guys' experience is really incredible, and I really appreciate your help.
You don't like to talk to the clueless? Come on.
I've tried that for a while, and I've learned that it doesn't work too well.
Well, on any given day, I can help you out with that. So,
Okay.
anything else we need to cover? Any last comments? I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording, and I'll leave the room open. Sometimes the parking lot is more interesting, and certainly on more than one occasion, a little more controversial than the actual recording. But thank you all for being here. As ever, I'm Edward Sanchez from Brass Ring Web Design, thanking you for being here, and we are out of here.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to follow up